Good morning, and welcome to your daily Farm and Home Show, brought to you by the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. And now, here's your host. Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna, and this morning we're visiting with Jason Phillips. He's a Simpson County Extension Agent for Agriculture and Natural Resources. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, Joanna.
Well, I'm glad you're here today because we're going to talk about an insect that we've been talking about for quite a while, but it's starting to move closer and closer to South Central Kentucky.
That's right.
That's the emerald ash borer. Talk about what it is and the significance of that insect.
Sure. Well, the emerald ash borer is basically devastating to our ash trees. So obviously, we want to keep it away from our area as much as we can. And it continues to encroach upon us to the east as close as Cumberland County and to the north as close as Hardin County. And if you check the emerald ash borer website on the University of Kentucky site, you can see that basically the majority of northern and eastern Kentucky it has been found in all these counties. And how does the insect get in? Do they fly into these other counties, or what's the mode of transportation? Well, actually, their range is very small, so they don't cover a lot of distance. Primarily, we're the problem, not specifically you and I, but people, because we haul firewood. And of course, this is the time of year we're purchasing firewood. It's getting cold, and we're transporting firewood. So the best practice is always to buy local firewood. Don't buy wood and take it somewhere, or buy wood and bring it home. But purchase local firewood, use it all while you're there, or use all the wood at your house, what you've purchased locally, but do not, under any circumstance, transport that wood, because that is primarily how the emerald ash borer gets moved to new locations. Yeah, and it is kind of being on like a high suspect list. Like if we get calls about people think that they might have the emerald ash borer, we would encourage them to contact the office, because we are kind of keeping track, because it is so devastating to our ash trees. Sure, yeah, I mean, several years ago we saw a lot of the purple traps hanging up along the roadsides, and that was to trap the emerald ash borer and sort of indicate where it had been found. That didn't prove to be overly effective, so we're relying now upon individuals contacting people like us at the County Extension Office to get a positive identification on the emerald ash borer. So if we do have a local case, we can identify it and then take appropriate steps to try to minimize any issues that we have, because once they move into an area, they're very devastating to the ash trees, all ash trees. And Jason, you brought some examples here, and I know that this one is the entrance hole, but somebody might say, well, I have holes in my tree. Does this mean I have the emerald ash borer? Talk about what's significant about this hole. Not necessarily, but this is a D-shaped hole. And you can see here we've highlighted it with some pink highlighter, but it's very somewhat characteristic D-shaped hole. Yeah, and most of the other insects bore a hole. It's usually circular in shape. More round. And I mean, we've had people call with woodpecker damage. That's obviously a lot bigger hole. Larger and round yeah. Yeah. Now, what do you have here? We've got some tunnels underneath the bark of an ash log, and you can see here, this is where the larva has tunneled. So if you're suspecting you might have some emerald ash borer damage, if you've got a log, for instance, you can pull the bark off, and if there's tunnels like that underneath it, you probably have an emerald ash borer. Now, is there anything that you do once you have it? Is there any type of sprays or anything that you can do to save your trees? There are some chemical recommendations, but it's very, very difficult, because typically ash trees are pretty large trees. So, there are some things that you can do preventatively if it's in the area, but again, it can be rather difficult and costly. Yeah, I've heard that the treatment's very expensive. Now, but is this how it kills the tree, with all the different tunnels, the larvae tunnels there? I think, a lot of times it does separate the bark from the main wood, and then at that point, you have issues with the movement of nutrients and water. All right, and protection. So if people suspect that, there's a whole website dedicated to the emerald ash borer that people can go on. Specifically to the emerald ash borer. Yeah, so
type in your favorite search engine, Emerald Ash Borer in Kentucky, and I'm sure that would come up. But Jason, appreciate you bringing us this information. Take home message, do not transport firewood. Use it there, don't bring it home. But we appreciate you watching and hope you have a great day.
If you have questions about today's topic, please call the Warren County Extension Office at the number on your screen. Thanks for watching and have a great day.